us, and if we do nothing about them, will continue to affect us. I have read the document, and I had an opportunity to consult with the ANC party critical organs of the party. We had a robust debate, and we came to the general conclusion that the document has very good provisions. Provisions that need to be enhanced, provisions that need to be enacted carefully and as soon as possible so that we can engage on nation building. Your Excellency, there are some areas, and I want to highlight just one or two, because my understanding is that the launch is given us an opportunity to reflect on these issues and then to enrich them so that the same task force that was handling it can take into account issues that may not have been captured appropriately. Indeed, a number of speakers have indicated there may be a few areas that require refining. Your Excellency, I think the strength of the Senate needs to be looked at again. When it comes to matters devolution, after reading it, I think the articles that have been touched tend to remove or to downgrade the role of Senate when it comes to allocation of resources to the counties. Senate is the anchor to devolution. I think that requires a review, not a rejection of the document, but a review. Your Excellency, the judiciary is independent. There's a very good provision recommending the appointment of the ombudsman to handle the issues of the judiciary. I think that is good. However, I strongly believe that in order to enhance the independence of the judiciary, that appointment should be made by the Chief Justice. Your Excellency, I'm making these points so that they can be looked at. The other point that I would like to make, is the issue of underpinning the economy. Your Excellency, you and I have the unique commonality of having served as Ministers of Finance. This is an area you understand very well. I strongly recommend that in the document, and as we look at it, because I believe there's a window, we can underpin the need to tame our economy. We should only better that percentage of 67% to higher. That will be so good because it will then be building the consensus we want for the Constitution. Your Excellency, the Constitution is not like the Ten Commandments. We cannot amend the Ten Commandments, but we can amend the Constitution. We can also improve the gray areas around the BBI so that that high percentage comes on board. And it is on this basis that I revisit the Kisse's address by His Excellency the President, that we must build consensus. He emphasized that in his speech, so that by the time we are reaching the plebiscite, we shall have developed very broad consensus. Kenya is ours, we must all protect it. This initiative is excellent. It is not work that can be taken lightly. So we support it, we'll work to support it, and we'll work to improve it. God bless all Kenyans, and God bless the souls of all those who have sacrificed or have lost their lives in the quest for a better Kenya. Thank you so much.
Mheshimiwa Rais, fellow Kenyans, I join others in wishing you a very happy birthday. And I want to take it up from where my friend Bishop Ogide left it. He once got me into a lot of trouble when I attended his inauguration as a Bishop of Sitam. He did refer to Psalms 133, I beg your pardon. It's just three stanzas, 3 verses. And it's actually a song by David. Jehovah, just a minute. This song by David starts by saying, "Behold, O God, and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious oil upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that came down upon the skirt of his garments, like the dew of Hermon that cometh down upon the mountains of Zion. For there Jehovah commanded the blessing, even life evermore." I think this is a moment for us Kenyans to reflect on this. And Mr. President, for once, I think we have a God-given opportunity, even as we prepare to take this country to a referendum, to have a non-contested referendum. Those are precisely the words that I used when I attended the inauguration of Bishop Ogide. When I say that time, let us listen to what the church is saying, so that we can build the consensus. I have read and I have traveled, and the most recent interesting reading I've come across is that of some of us who think that this is another trick. As my brother Chamasha Mashinani said, he did not find any mischief in this document. But there are those who are reading mischief. Unfortunately, let us also bring them on board. For instance, they think that this whole thing is aimed at creating and expanding the structure of the executive to the detriment of everything else. But you have heard here the Kenyans in a celebratory mood because they don't even agree on the formula. Now everything looks straight. I want to urge here that we get into this norm of believing that every Kenyan is important. Every Kenyan. Those on 4-wheel cars and those even on one wheel. Every Kenyan matters. Every Kenyan. Governors, when you get this money, I plead for the love of this country. Please, we have an opportunity to grow our own economy and not only on each other. Mr. President, I want to be very brief and say that we have read this. It cannot be a reading mood all the time. It's not a very big document. We have read it. What happens next, in my view, Mr. President, is that the bills that have already been drafted, and there are several of them drafted, let then the whole concept, which is enshrined in Constitution 2010, take root. Participation, public participation with regard to each of those bills that has been drafted subsequent upon this. So the report then allows some hands and feet to stand on. And the country to prepare for the next very important thing. So we have read, let us not kid ourselves. People cannot read forever. It has been read, and I think it is a time to move on and support this change, which is important. And when we are doing it, doing it, avoid radicalizing this country. You see, there are very many types of terrorism. If you start a class war, what are you doing to your own country? In the name of wanting to get elected. This is not good. I've just come, Your Excellency, from a visit to Mount Kenya region, and beautiful Thompson Falls, compared to the famous Bomas of Kenya thing. It's amazing. Beautiful territory, beautiful country. But then we radicalize the youth, so they look at you, a youth looked at me. A Kenyan song in Kisumu. I want to refer you to the provisions of the Marriage Act. Thank you.
Asanteni sana Mheshimiwa Rais, tumeketi kwa muda na nitaomba kwa ruhusa yako uniruhusu dakika moja peke yake. Sote tusimame, tunyooshe mwili tukiimba wimbo nchi yangu jukumu langu, mimi ni shujaa. Simama Wakenya wote simama. Twende pamoja. Simama wewe shujaa, simama.
Nani ya kikisi unajua? Ni ya kikisi.
Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga. Welcome, Paito Mabuza.
Kwa nini mbona karibishe Ruto?
Your Excellency. Haya. Your Excellency, ndugu yangu Rais Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Wakenya wote ambao wako hapa, hamjambo. Your Excellency, 2 days ago, we lost a very strong, patriotic Kenyan who has done a lot, and whom had just spoken 3 days ago, 4 days before he died, about the Constitution, and he said he approved. This is Zamba Kitonga. I think, Your Excellency, it would be amiss if we finish this congregation, those remembering Zamba Kitonga. And I'm asking that in memory of Zamba Kitonga, you observe 1 minute silence. Asante. Your Excellency, Zamba Kitonga committee of experts that delivered this 2010 Constitution. And before he passed away, he actually had a conversation. The one day as the delegates were gathered here, and we were talking about devolution, and one of the delegates, the late Dr. Bomas, stood somewhere that side and spoke for about 10 minutes about devolution. By the time he finished, everybody said that gentleman should be the chairman of the devolution committee here. And he was appointed to chair the devolution committee. Unfortunately, he did not live to see it through because he was shot and killed in cold blood. We remember him. We need, going forward, the remembrance of Dr. Bomas. Your Excellency, that same year, we gathered here as we were in the final stages of completing the document. And a group of delegates here walked away from us. They went away because they did not agree with some of the provisions of that constitution. That was the then course of, then they went to court and stopped us. Then the splitting which came, eventually, Kilifi welcome, and that is what created bananas and the disease. Banana ended up with Kofi Annan Agenda 4. And that is what then created in 2010. So as those who have spoken before have said, 2010 constitution was a ceasefire constitution. It was still work in progress. And every country moved through this kind of process. When we had finished here, we had a three-tier structure of government: the local, the region, and the national. At Naivasha, the region was scrapped. We ended up now with a two-tier: the national and the county. So this is an issue that could be revisited at some other time. But right now we have this. But then, Your Excellency, when we sat together, we agreed that it was time to look at some of the issues ailing our country. Because in spite of having passed this constitution, which has been hailed all over the world as one of the most democratic constitutions, still we have problems as people. So what is it that is missing? That needs to be fixed so that Kenyans can march on as people who are proud and who are happy. That was the essence of that conversation that we had. And after we talked, we put up this team together. And then they came up with this proposal, which you got here last year. From here, we started now a new journey. Validation, as the chairman said. We went first to PC for the Nyanza region. And the Bagusi, the Luos, the Koreans spoke in Kisii. Then we went to Ingo, Kakamega. Those people also spoke. We went to Mombasa, we went to Kitui, we went to Narok, to Garissa. Eventually, we went to the mountain, to Meru. And we were unable to go to Nakuru for reasons which have been explained. So this document is as a result of very extensive consultation with the people who came. The proposals which have been made here. But as other people have said, it is still work in progress. We need to be, and you have said it must be inclusive. Everybody needs to be involved. Your Excellency, as the Bible says, Isaiah 1, chapter 18. Come now, let us reason together. says in Surah 39, Ayah 18, those who listen to all statements and then follow the best of it, these are the ones whom Allah has guided, and these are the ones possessed of minds. So we're saying, come and let us reason together as a people, okay? Let us talk together, let us not talk at each other, but let us talk to each other. Because Kenya is bigger than all of us. I mean, President Uhuru Kenyatta, when we talked, we said we want to bequeath a better society for the coming generation of our country. It is not about making Uhuru Kenyatta a prime minister or Raila Odinga a president. And Raila Odinga has never declared, and I want to tell the Standard newspaper, anyway, that wants to run for presidency in 2022. That is not why we brought this. We brought this because we have seen that there are problems in our country. And these problems must be solved by the people of Kenya themselves. The founding fathers of our nation wanted a united nation. Well, that's why they say that God bless this land of ours. Justice be our shield and defender. May we dwell in unity, peace and liberty. Plenty be found within our borders. That plenty is not going to drop like manna from heaven. It is going to be as a result of the sweat and the toil of our people. So we must give Kenyans opportunity to create that wealth. This is what we're talking about, empowering the youth so that the youth can be able to create wealth. Wealth will be created by our people. That's when we are going to have plenty within our country. But every child born in our country has equal opportunity to be able to realize his or her potential from the cradle to the grave. That no Kenyan will sleep without food. That each and every Kenyan, when they are irrespective of their money or no money. This is the kind of society we want to create. An equal society where everybody has an opportunity. Not a polarized society. The haves and the have-nots. The low downtrodden and the upper up there. We don't want a proletarian revolution. And proletarian revolutions have never been led with the bourgeois. We want to have an equal society where people work together and people love each other. That's why we are proposing a new ethos of Utu. 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 Kila moja ni ndugu. Nyerere alifanya kule Tanzania. Watanzania hawaulizi gani? Anauliza wewe unatoka jimbo gani? Ukimuuliza Tanzania wewe ni kabila gani, atasema wewe ni Mkenya. Hapa Tanzania hatuulizi kabila. Sisi kabila moja ni Watanzania. Hata Wakenya tuseme sisi zote ni Wakenya. Usiniambie wewe ni Mkisii, au wewe ni Mkale, au wewe ni Mgiriama, au wewe ni Mkikuyu, au wewe ni Jango. Sema wewe ni Mkenya. I'm proud. Sisi wako pamoja, wako pair. Sio kupea. Wewe umekuwa na bibi, umezaa mtoto, na mtoto amekuwa ni kichaa. Sasa wewe unasema mimi si mtoto wangu. BBI sema kwa Kenya moja, BBI. Mheshimiwa William Samuel Ruto, hongera wa Kenya.
Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya Mheshimiwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga, waziri mkuu wetu wa zamani, waheshimiwa manaibu wa rais wa zamani Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka na Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi, Your Excellencies, High Commissioners and Ambassadors, maspika wetu wa bunge la Senate na bunge la kitaifa, viongozi wote, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First, I want to say that I hope, Mheshimiwa Raila, you are not referring to me as a bourgeois. But I want to agree with you. I want to agree with you that we have a mischievous media sometimes, not all the times. On a day as important as this, when you have a headline saying Raila Odinga says he's going to run in 2022, they are trying to reduce this occasion to a matter of 2022, but we have all agreed that it is not. But on the same media, the same headline, they have said that William Ruto is coming to meet demons at Bomas. Now, I am asking myself whether there are any demons in Bomas. Or better still, maybe I can ask them, Olisikia wapi, that there are demons in Bomas. But having said that, Your Excellency, this is a very important moment in our history. Important because you have persuaded us that the making of a constitution is always work in progress, and that we must strive progressively to have a negotiated constitutional settlement, or to arrive at a place where we are all working together, building consensus. And I share fully with those sentiments. I know if as we are having this meeting and this launch of this report of the Building Bridges Initiative, Your Excellency, you have persuaded us that this is a moment to look at our Constitution and to find progressive amendments to our Constitution. There are those who believe, yes, it's a constitutional moment, but to progressively implement the 2010 Constitution. Civil society and others think so. There are those who believe that maybe this is a moment to discuss the ravages of COVID and the reality of our economic status, especially the majority, 40% old people who live below the poverty line, and the 16 million or so young people who are unemployed. All this, Your Excellency, as you have said, and as the former Prime Minister said here, this is saying we have a civic duty, all of us as Kenyans, to engage in this process. We do not have the luxury to say, I don't care. We do not have the luxury to walk away. In any case, it is said that the punishment given to good people who don't participate in the politics and governance of their country, the punishment given to them is to be ruled by fools. I don't think any one of us here wants to be ruled by fools. That's why we must participate in this process. And it's our civic duty to do so. The BBI process has given us a raft of proposals for us to see, to interrogate, to improve. You did tell us, Your Excellency, that we're all free to improve on this process. And the many proposals that have been put, especially that were outlined here by Adam Solo on administrative issues or legislative issues, I believe that since we have a forum where in Parliament and in government, where we can discuss the policy, the administrative, and the legal issues in Parliament, that can be interrogated in that process. Many of those issues that are administrative and that are legislative are issues mainly to do with our youth, mainly to do with how to do business, how to grow our economy. And Your Excellency, I want to say that these are very important issues. And in any case, I would add that from that list, especially on matters to do with our business, it must not be lost on us that the real problem, the real problem is that these young people are jobless. That is the real cause of all this. And that is the discussion we must have. That is the discussion we must have. Having said that, Your Excellency, there are that drives our economy, contributing 25% directly to our GDP, through manufacturing another 24%, and which employs almost 65% of all people in Kenya, is the agricultural sector. I dare say, Your Excellency, that this is an area that, again, we must find a mechanism of having a conversation, especially the farming community, and matters to do with productivity, matters to do with proposals that were made on guaranteed minimum returns for our farmers, our wheat farmers, our sugarcane farmers, our coffee farmers, our tea farmers, our dairy sector, the pastoralist corner. Your Excellency, it is my humble submission that that is an area that we can improve this document on.